This episode is brought to you by Lumina Growth Lab. At Lumina, we help professional learning and development companies who are struggling with predictable lead flow, breaking out beyond their network, and a sniper approach to attracting the ideal clients so they can have a smoother sales process, finally have scalability, and ultimately take their business to the next level. Most of the time, our clients come to us frustrated because business has fundamentally changed since the pandemic and now the disruption of AI. But with the right strategy and support, they're able to confidently add new channels of lead generation, leading to a packed pipeline that creates sustainable revenue and year-over-year growth for cheaper than ever before because of the use of AI technologies. If that sounds like you or someone you know, connect with me on LinkedIn and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about unlocking your business's potential. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy, and today I am joined by the incredible and talented Sam Zimmin. Sam, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Lisanne, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm really stoked about this conversation. I've had the opportunity to talk to Sam a couple times, and every time it's like his company is making like monumental shifts that's changing how their company is positioned in the marketplace, how it's helping customers, and it's really exciting. And so I'm very, very excited to dive into this conversation. So Sam is the CEO of Global CI. And so I'm really excited to have him break down exactly what it is that means and what they do and who they serve. So Sam, give us a little bit of background on Global CI first and like who it is and who they serve.
So we are a long established federal contracting firm. We started in SSA in 1992. We've been in CMS since 1997. We do specialize in healthcare IT. We also do full stack web development for the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum right now. And we're really having fun in that space. Recently, we started specializing in some software development and have been going through that transition as well. On top of it all, we do really robust cybersecurity, and we have built that infrastructure out at SSA, and we do it commercially as well. So it's been really a fun adventure to be at this company.
I love that. And how long have you been with them?
6 years.
6 years. Nice. And tell me a little bit about your background. Like, where did you get your start? How did you end up at Global CI?
So I used to be a bicycle mechanic, which
That's awesome.
eventually led me back to college, where I got a business degree from University of Colorado. While I was there, I ended up getting into data analytics and forensics and ended up as a data scientist at Medtronic for a little while. COVID happened, as you mentioned earlier, and changed the landscape for a lot of us. I moved back to Maryland, where I was picked up by Global C. They asked me to assist on a couple of items that they were working on for go to market, and it ended up being a really good relationship.
That's awesome. So, are you like all of the software that you guys are developing right now? Are you developing that internally, or are
Yes.
you contracting that out, or how are you doing that?
100% in-house, self-funded right now. It's been quite an undertaking.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. What's been one of the most challenging aspects?
It's really hard for a company to, especially a small business like ours, to do services, product, commercial, and federal contracting. You got a lot of plates in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been a journey navigating and really working on the company culture and mindset of how those worlds are different. Services, you have a much more transactional, eat what you kill day in, day out, got to make the money to cover the next hour. But when you do product, it's between fasting and feasting. You go from long droughts to being a glutton. So in between that, we've had to change some of our operational styles, um, make sure that we had the right personalities in the right places that understood what was expected in those areas. And it's been great. Everyone's been amicable. We've had a lot of buy-in from everyone at the company, and they see and we share it with them, and it's been pretty easy to get them on board. And then we all learn together
Yeah,
how
I love it.
each world is different.
So I love that. So can you share a little bit of the transition? Like how did your services look before you decided to productize them? And like why did you decide to go the productized route?
Yeah. So when I joined Global CI, we were essentially a staffing firm, and we provided a lot of services on top of that, but we had been a staffing firm for so long, that was how we were perceived. And we had to change that image by expanding our contracts and really advertising differently about what we were capable of. And our services are top notch. You know, Global CI has over 50 awards from the government year over year. We've never lost a client. We've been on every contract we've ever been on for decades. And, you know that internally, but you have to explain and share that with the outside world. So, marketing, and especially when you're a small business and you don't have robust marketing budgets, you have to make sure that when you do get face to face with your customer that you communicate that. But when I came on, I'm sitting in a room and between 4 or 5 people, there's 100 years of SMEs. And I'm like, you guys are all brilliant. I mean, to the point where anytime we're in a room, if there's a person from Global CI there, they're often the smartest person in the room, right? They've just been doing it for so long. They were around at conception, implementation. They were there from carbon copy to internet. I mean, it's just unbelievable, these people. So when I got there, one of the first things they teach you in business school is diversification and resiliency. And I did not see it at this company, right? Resiliency for sure. I mean, they had grit. They'd been around when all their competitors had lost out and just they were able to do and maneuver and adapt. But diversification was missing in terms of opportunity. So I talked to all these SMEs and I said, what are we doing that could go outside of the federal government? And that was the beginning, the spark that led to the products and the software. And it's been phenomenal. It's been extremely well received. And then we had to learn what that company looked like. It's a whole new animal.
So and so what are the products focused on? 'Cause like you said, like you were kind of boxed into like a staffing box, right? And like how have you expanded services, and are you still doing staffing, or have you guys kind of let that go?
No, we're absolutely still doing staffing. We support a lot of really large firms that do really great work with the federal government. And so we're still on those contracts. We've been on one of them for almost 30 years. And so we're not going anywhere. And we're still going to support those missions. But our specialty is healthcare IT. So we still live in that vein, even our products. And it's all about helping other pillars in our world, like hospitals. And they're our main customer who we want to be working with. And a lot of what we do is enhancing bond ratings for hospitals, which affects their Medicare, Medicaid reimbursement rates, helping them recover uncompensated care through, AI driven technology, and working on areas that we felt were neglected, but a top priority.
Interesting. So, why do you feel like things that are a top priority are neglected? Like, why was that happening in the industry?
Because sometimes it's hard to justify a spend that might not have this immediate return or a silver bullet. I tell customers, we don't have this this thing that you put in and all of a sudden your problems go away. We have we have dirt on our hands, we have well-worn tools and sweat on our brow, and I can promise you that and results because you got to do the work. And we have to often let them know that it might not be pretty at first, but once it starts to get right and it feels right and everything's going the way that you've always envisioned it, that's what we get in the dirt for.
That's awesome. I love that. Um, and I love that. I mean, you have this company that has been around for such a long time, and you haven't been there for that long, and you're the CEO, and so I'm super curious. And you're young, like this is like so exciting. Like I'm really curious to know like what you feel differentiated you or gave you the opportunity to be trusted in this position. I mean, I'm sure you deserve every bit of it, but I'm really curious, like, as because a lot of my audience are people that are like younger in their journey, so they're looking for mentorship. And so I think, especially like how you even start your story of like, I was a bicycle mechanic, and yes, you do have a degree and you're obviously incredibly smart, but like what was it that allowed you to climb and see the vision and have the company trust you to make that vision become a reality?
I think I'm definitely my harshest critic. So, whatever I say, please take with a grain of salt because I'm luckier than I am good for certain. When I came over to Global CI, I had never worked with the federal government a day in my life. I had no idea what the world was going to be like. And that ignorance may have given me some level of delusional optimism of what I was walking into. But this company had been a subcontractor for 30 years, and I won them 3 prime contracts in 2 years because I knew they were worth it, right? When you talk to these people, you know when there's talent around you. So that went over really well. People
Shocking.
really like, yeah, they really like that change. And then when we decided to go to the product space, I was in support of it, but I didn't really have a heavy hand in it. Again, it was an area that I didn't have a ton of experience with. I had never sold software. 2 years go by, we don't land a single customer. And one day I come back and I go, I got them. And so there was enough that the success was in my favor. But again, I don't feel like there was a skill set or anything necessarily that led to it, but there's a few mantras that I keep in mind to always be ready for things like that and those opportunities, and knowing and recognizing when I'm in one and not letting it pass me by. But that might be from years of having let them go by, and to finally be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I wouldn't be in marketing if I hadn't been like I really identify with your story of, like you hadn't worked a day in your life in government and you had this opportunity to work and it just like it clicked in terms of like because you saw the mission and vision of the company and you were able to speak confidently and win some contracts. I have a very, very similar story with marketing. Like I was getting my master's in public administration and I had someone from a publishing company that approached me and asked me to apply for a marketing job. And I was like, well, I'm not in marketing, right? And they're like, well, I just think, I don't know. It's just like, it's something about like how you think in your mind, like just apply. I ended up applying and it was actually because I didn't know anything about marketing at the time. I approached the project in like a very like psychology based way, the projects that I was given during the interview process. And it was almost like a benefit that I didn't know anything about it because I just like went about it intuitively and they were like, wow, like this is like exactly the kind of thinking that we want. And I was like, are you sure? Cause like, I had to like Google and pay a friend to go to dinner to like tell me like what is a campaign, what is a primary message, what is a secondary message as I was doing it and so yeah I feel yeah it was for me it was a lot of luck, right? I mean there was an innate understanding of psychology, in my case, an innate understanding of psychology, which really was like the clincher, but it was a lot of luck because like I wouldn't have applied for it in the first place because I just didn't consider myself a marketer at the time.
Yeah, and that, we call it, I guess it's ignorance, but it's really kind of a beautiful thing sometimes when people build all these boundaries and barriers in their head, but you don't have any of that. So you just walk right past them and people are like, oh, you can't do that. And then you come out the other side successful and they're like, oh, wait, well, maybe we need to rethink how we're doing this. And you're like, I didn't even know that was there. If it had been a landmine, I'd have stepped on it, but I just kept going. Because when you have a desire to succeed and a drive for it, and you don't know that you're not supposed to do something, you go do whatever you got to do. And I think it's great when people, especially when a company's set up to allow people to move around and not create barriers for them and not, hey, you want to try something new? Typically it's not done that way, but let's see what happens,
Yeah,
and create that because
yeah,
that's where the innovation really breaks through and you're like whole new way of doing something.
I love that. Do you feel like that's kind of like what happened in shifting to be able to offer services to groups outside of government? Like was that kind of an example of that?
No, we knew what we were doing. I would say that was a little different because that mindset will take you so far, right? It might get you some first wins, which is my experience, but that doesn't always happen forever, and you have some losses, big losses sometimes, especially and those are even worse when you're riding high off that first win and you're like, I did it, now we can do it and whatever. And then, no, 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 no. Okay, well, what did I miss? And then you have to start going and learning
Mm,
and really ride that wave. And one of the things I think is really important is you become what you study. So if you're going to be an expert in something and you're going to talk about it, you have to study it all the time. You have to spend time reading the newest trends, the newest everything, because then it becomes second nature and people
Uh-huh.
talk about it and bring it up and you're on it and you start to sound like an expert. And even though you might not think of yourself as one, you're doing the things, right? You're putting in the work to become that person anyway. And then you got to do it right. So, sometimes those first wins, like I said, it's really feels luckier than good. And now it's time to be good.
I like
That's what it
that. No,
feels
that's a
like.
cool. I like that distinction because you're right. The early wins can only take you so far, right? Like if you're gonna like really succeed or scale in something, like you have to become the subject matter expert of whatever that element is. I love it. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about how, like, especially since like you have navigated out of just doing government contracts alone, like how does Global CI acquire clients? What are some of the channels and methods that you guys use to bring in new hospitals?
We're still figuring that out. That is a huge hurdle. And I know it's every business's hurdle is new clients, but it's something we're still learning a lot about.
Yeah,
The first one is use your network. Who knows you and who do you know? Advertising is something that is I understand it abstractly, especially to the level of it being very effective, and we're learning that. But in the early stages, it's all about, "Hey, can I get a handshake? I need a handshake. Who do I know that can get me to the person that knows the person that knows the person?" And that I honestly think that is, if you can find that, that is the best. I mean, the first client, I'm talking to a guy that has nothing to do with what I do for work. I'm not even at work. His wife knows a person. He likes what I'm talking about. They make an introduction. I get a meeting. 15 minutes into that meeting, they're like, "I want this." And that was huge. But there weren't enormous marketing efforts to back that up at all. If people were like, "Hey, what's your go-to-market strategy?" I'm like, talk to every single person about what you're doing with passion, because if they really believe in what you're doing, they'll pass you on to the person that can make it happen. And that's really my experience right now. I am excited to eventually have the, you know, presence to do the marketing and advertising and have that be the effective part of it as well, and have people, beating down your door versus beating down theirs.
yeah, yeah. That totally makes sense. And regardless, like, even when you have the infrastructure capacity to do marketing channels like you just mentioned, are those marketing channels getting you the types of conversations that you just mentioned? Those types of conversations, those referrals, and I love like the secret sauce you just mentioned of like talk about what you do in a confident and passionate manner all the time. Like that goes so much further than what people anticipate. And it I don't know. I mean, I think it's, that and almost like an energetic aura that permeates, like you said. So it's like the wife of somebody, it's like, oh, like you need to talk to my friend's husband or whatever. Like, because they once they understand like what you're doing, they're happy to, and they see that like, oh, they're confident, they believe in it. They're happy to make the connection. Even when you're ready for the marketing channels type of what I'm saying is like that type of uh personal connection, especially in B2B businesses, service-based businesses, like the relationship is everything. It's
Absolutely.
everything. Yeah. Okay. You to talk to me about like what are your big initiatives like this year? You're productizing things. Are you in a big push to validate those products? Are you still in building mode? What's on the horizon right now for you guys?
Yeah, the horizon's bright. So right before this call, I got off a meeting with Oracle where they validated one of our products and we completed validation, which was a long and arduous effort. And, I'm riding on cloud nine right now. So you caught me at a great time. That was a huge step for us to help with our clients. A lot of people use that software, Oracle Health. And that's what we tap into. So having that validation gets us a lot further. And then we're separating the IP into a whole new company called Care Eligible Health. And it's the first time I've done something like that. because now we're not just transitioning from services to software. Now we are in a startup, completely different animal again. And it's like drinking through five fire hoses at once, honestly, and already not being thirsty. You just don't know how you're going to learn the next thing. With that, and with the customers, and with the success we've been having, and having our pilot, and gearing up for implementation, and going through the validation while still talking to the next round of clients, still having success, still driving that, we decided, hey, I need implementation teams. I need sales teams. I need more people. So we started just in the last couple of weeks doing an angel and seed round of investments. And that is like a whole nother five fire hoses. I am drowning, but the feeling, is amazing because it's just learning all of this new stuff all the time in areas that I don't have any expertise in whatsoever. And then meeting people, and your network again is just your lifeline to the world. Always be a kind person, because you never know who you're going to need help from, or what like little piece of knowledge they have that is just going to keep you from, stepping on that landmine or whatever, tripping over that wire. It makes all the difference. And we've been super tapped into our network, and we've had tons of help from people, and that's just been worth everything.
I love that. Is this an exciting space for you, or is it a scary space, or yes to both?
Oh, no, it's exciting. It's absolutely exciting. We're thrilled. I mean, the the have you ever seen, like, the little domino stacks that lead to the big domino that's, like, the size of the building? It feels like the opposite of that for us. We were on the other side of the big domino going, "How do we move this thing?" And we've been pushing and pushing and pushing and whatever, and it finally tipped, and now the other dominoes are falling fast. And you're like, "Okay, well, I have to become an expert in this tomorrow. I have to know what I'm doing tomorrow." And that's fun and exciting. I mean, there's no shortage of things to do. The direction is really clear, which is great. And that helps, because having our roadmap, having our vision, and having everyone bought into it, every time we talk, we're all on the same page. And we're open. Our group's open. There's no problem with anything. So you can be as critical as you want. Hey, that's not going to work. Oh, that died too. There's no stupid ideas.
Yeah.
And we love having people from federal and commercial and health and cybersecurity all in the same room, because you never know where that next, like, really great idea or solution to a problem is going to come from. I think one of my favorite stories I ever heard about this, which has nothing to do with IT, was from Trek Bicycles. They have this, I've been out of this industry for so long, so I'm going to botch it, but I think they have this thing called like a quick link or whatever. But basically, all it is they put this pivot point on their mountain bikes in the center of the rear wheel hub, and is the absolute best place to have this point of leverage. No one had done it before them. And there's a room full of mountain bike guys standing over drawings and designs and engineers and all this stuff. And they're looking at it. Oh, God, I don't know. How do we make it smoother? And this guy from the road bike side of the house, which has no suspension whatsoever, so he doesn't have to spend time contemplating this at all, like, walks through to get a pen, and he goes, "Hey, why don't you just put it in the middle of the wheel?" And it's just like that. You get so focused and hyper attentive to this detail that you start to cloud out the never have and how could, and you just, oh, this is how everyone else does it. What if we do this like slightly different? Or, this is my favorite way of doing it, so maybe we can try to enhance on this, but to just come out of it with something new. And ever since that technology came out, every single mountain bike model since then has been trying to get as close to that point as possible, but they own the patent for it. So they have to get as close as possible to that point, because it is the absolute best, but it has shaped the whole industry. And it's
Wow.
just because someone from outside of that area of expertise was passing through. I mean, and so you got to create an environment where that can happen really organically and
I
all the
love
time.
that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love it. I love it. I love how you say, like, you caught me at a good time. Like, your passion, I can tell you're on fire right now. That's great. Okay. So what are some industry trends or macro dynamics that are impacting global CI right now and how you guys are doing work?
Industry trends. So the place that our products are focused in healthcare are some of the highest spends in healthcare, revenue cycle management, recovery, and growth. And all of our products are for that. And they're organically for that. So I'm grateful that those are the high spend areas as well. But those trends have opened up a lot of doors for us. People are a lot more open to these opportunities and ideas, even if they're exploratory at first. And that's been opening up. AI, I mean, yeah, that trend has been incredible.
Like, how are you guys looking at it, implementing it?
Well, so, I think the biggest introduction to the version of AI that all of us are talking about now was ChatGPT, right? That's like a really quick foot in the door AI where it was highly available and accessible, easy to use. And at first it was like, okay, we have this. And the way I always tell people to think about it and not be worried about it is this is a junior research assistant. It's going to give you information. It might help spark some ideas, might help you quickly find out something you didn't know that you were going to go have to research anyway. You have to fact check it. Always make it provide a source. Tell it not to lie because it's unbelievable how ChatGPT will just like, this is a great idea and then run away with it. And you're like, okay, well, that none of that's true. So don't do that. But and then since then, our tool uses AI and machine learning and natural language processing to enhance all of its capabilities. And that's part of it. But then today, I had a friend that I worked with in Colorado at a bike shop. And I said, "Hey man, do you still work for that web design company?" And he said, "Yes." Is your website complicated? I said, "No, we're working on a landing page right now. It's the start of this company, so on and so forth." He goes, "Go to this Manus AI. It's owned by Meta. And I mean, oh my God. I had a website in 15 minutes. Whole website. I was just shell shocked. I mean, it's a little scary because that's a whole revenue stream gone for some people. I
Mhm.
mean, you can do that yourself now. Is You don't need to know anything about websites, just what you want your website and your customer to see. Now, you still want to know the market, but hey, look at all this other AI that can do all this market research for you. Right. And you just keep tying them together. And there you are. I mean, on the other side of that, it's this accelerant for these solutions or for the problems, or for those both probably. But it's an accelerant for your solutions to a problem that, 6 or 7 years ago, when you hear about what they spent to build a website and you're like, I just did it for free in 15 minutes, people's jaws hit the floor. They don't even, that took 6 meetings and 10 iterations, and now it's nothing.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Really incredible. That's awesome. I love that I can tell you're not just a learner, but you're a tinkerer as well. Probably the bike background, right? Fiddling
Yes.
with gears and cranks
I
and
miss
stuff like that.
I definitely miss the wrenches for sure. But once you own a house, you never have to worry about not having something to fix. And then you can just do it there.
Yeah, it's slightly different kind of wrench, right? But
Yes.
that's awesome. I love it. Well, Sam, it's been seriously such a joy having you today and learning more about global CI and everything that's going on. And it's really exciting to be talking to you at this point where, like you said, like the big domino is falling and things are starting to happen fast. And so it's like, okay, we need to ride this wave as far as we can and do our best to stay on top of the opportunities that are coming. So thank you so much again for coming on to the show. It really has been a joy having you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
I love it. So for people that want to follow you, your journey, or Global CI, how do people find you?
Globalci.com. Go straight there. You can contact us. If you want to get a hold of me, if you go to my LinkedIn, Sam Zimmin, Global CI, will probably get you there. All of my information is on there. I'm open and available to anybody that wants to talk.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm going to put the links to Sam's profile as well as the website in the episode notes so you can link out directly to it there. So make sure that you check him out and everything they're doing because it's exciting, especially if you're anywhere near healthcare. But thank you so much again, Sam, for coming. And for those of you that listened today, we know that your time is valuable. So for you to spend some moments with us means the absolute world. Until next time on the Marketing Matrix.